What's up guys, Riz here. Today I want to talk to you about something that's very important. There's been a lot of new people interested in trading. Maybe that's you, maybe because of everything that's occurred over the last 2 weeks with GameStop and Reddit and Wall Street Bets and AMC and yada yada, right? So I want to address you. Maybe you're new, maybe you're not. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be breaking down kind of what you should do. If you haven't gotten the right guidance, please, it's so important in this day and age, in this market, especially with all the hype, to really go back to the basics, really make sure that you have the right mindset, the right training, the right guidance when approaching markets, because a lot of people have been looking at markets as a way to get rich quick, to YOLO, to hold the line, and really gamble, right? We've seen it, whether it's people that are social media personalities, whether they're celebrities, whether it's politicians. Everyone is chiming in, and pretty much everyone at some point is watching the stock, and I have it outlined here for you. Maybe you've seen my previous video where I talk about my $116,000 loss. In fact, it's a little bit more than that, but ultimately I showed a video as well with the loss. And man, I broke down the trade, what the trade was, how I ended up in it, and here we are, right? A week later, and the price of GameStop, right? So I'm going to address that in a bit, but first thing first, let's go over a few things that you should do if you're new to markets. Number one, avoid taking any advice from Reddit, any kind of hype, unverified YouTube channel with clickbait title, and just really no substance or any viable or verified track record. You need to avoid that at all costs, because it's going to create FOMO, fear of missing out. You're going to fall for the hype. You're going to fall for really some golden ticket like everyone else on Reddit and Wall Street Bets fell for. There's still people that had the ability, that got it right. They got it right when I got it wrong. They got in something like GameStop relatively early. There's people that, turned a relatively small amount into a huge amount, right? And they got the trade right, but what do? They didn't lock in gains. They didn't take profits. They had diamond hands. They were holding the line. And sure, I get it. Everyone wants to kind of participate and be a part of this movement, to stick it to the hedge fund, stick it to the man. And I get that. But ultimately, it's still people's hard-earned money, and I assure you, for every one person you see that made a decent chunk of money, I assure you there's dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of others that have lost a significant amount. And this is the reality and the fact of the matter. When you trade or put your capital in the financial market without knowing what you're doing, you're looking at it as a gambling outlet. I get it. What's going to happen is a lot of people may have had this first interaction with markets with GameStop or AMC or this or that, whatever, and they maybe got burnt and they lost a significant amount of money, and they're going to be turned off from markets going forward. And this is an unfortunate collateral damage. We saw it in 2008. People that were damaged, okay, their investments were damaged. They lost their faith in markets. Maybe they didn't know any better. And ultimately, they never came back to markets. We've seen the stock market over the last 10 years go up an insane amount. In fact, if I bring up the S&P 500 here, right, and we zoom out and we go from about 2010, okay, 2010, forget 2009, forget 2008, just 2010 to now, the market is up over 245%, right? If I go back a little bit further to the weekly chart, all right, and now I can zoom out a little bit further. Let's go to 2008, meaning let's calculate and include the big drop that we had in 2008. Looks relatively small, right? That's all it was when you think about this. So take a look at the gains, okay, from 2008 roughly to now, about 158%. That's including the crash in 2008, okay? So ultimately, what we're looking at is a massive growth over the last 10 to 12 years. And that's just passive. Remember, this is the index, right? We have companies like Apple, Amazon that are up thousands of percent since then. But ultimately, coming back full circle, you need to know that what you did in the markets, depending on how you approach it, whether it was right or wrong, you need to know if you were gambling, you need to accept that. If you were just YOLOing, you need to accept that. If you were looking to be a part of a movement, fine. Maybe you still hold these stocks and these shares that have come back down. It wasn't a magic bullet. It wasn't something that someone could just automatically enter and become rich. Because if life worked that way, everyone would have been doing it, right? And a lot did. But they just ended up getting clobbered, okay? Clobbered. GameStop is down at around 50, let's just say $50, after hours, including after hours. It's ridiculous. Look at this chart here, all right? I've gone through the breakdown. You can watch my previous video. It's about $21 a share, starting the year relatively. Okay, went as high as nearly $500 a share. And here we are at $50 per share, okay? I've seen personally, I've seen pictures and videos of people making, turning a few $1,000s into, even six figures, and they didn't take the money for whatever reason. Because to the moon, because this can squeeze higher, because let's stick it to Melvin Capital, because this can go to 1,000. I mean, I don't know what people were thinking, but hey, what's happened has happened. You need to decide now, what do you want to do from here? Are you serious about markets? If you are serious about trading, you're serious about investing, do not let hype companies like GameStop, AMC, Wall Street Bets, and all these other bullshit YouTube channels and social media channels that have come in and started just yapping away. Do not let any of that cloud your judgment. Don't let any of that lead you astray. You need to make sure that you learn from the right people, you learn the right stuff, and then you implement it strategically. Okay, implementation is key. If you are just gonna throw darts at a dartboard expecting to make it big, well then your results will be all over the place, right? So you need to know what you're expecting out of the markets, and based on that, you need to put in the effort. All right, so if you've been impacted by GameStop, I'm not gonna shit on you or just, talk smack. It sucks, it's horrible that there's so many people that were holding because they were expecting everyone else to hold, or because they were expecting this to squeeze higher. And obviously, people had hopes, right? They had hopes, they put their money in. My heart goes out to people that lost a significant amount of money. I don't know where this goes next. I wouldn't be surprised if this stock goes back down to, the 40s, 30s, would not be surprised at all. And, people had I don't want to say a once in a lifetime opportunity, but they had a very, very amazing opportunity on their hands. An opportunity that I didn't take. And in fact, I was on the wrong side of, right? I openly said that I lost a decent amount of money. I'm not, bent out of shape about it. As you can see, I openly talked about it, a day after the loss itself. And you know what? It's a learning lesson, whether people who wrote it up and didn't take profits, or maybe you did do well. Now it's time for you to take it seriously. Maybe you did very well in this and you took advantage of this opportunity that came to you and you did well. Kudos to you. Congratulations. Now you got to get it serious with your money. You got to get serious with your strategy and look at markets as a probabilities nature, because that's what it is. It's not gambling. It's not rigged. It's not, just getting up and just buying whatever you think is going to go up. Okay, it's not that simple. There's a strategy, there's a method, there's a plan that needs to be implemented. That's how I want people to think about markets, because there's way too much noise, there's way too much nonsense out there, and it hurts me to the core when I see average people, normal people, hardworking people, good intentioned people losing their money because they've been led astray. Maybe they've been misled. Maybe they don't know any better. Maybe they just fell for this kind of golden opportunity or this kind of perfect scenario. And you can see that by this chart. I'm keeping this chart up because you can see how it's played out, right? Do I see GameStop going back to 200, 300, 400 anytime soon, if ever? No, I don't think it's going to happen, because guess what? A lot of people lost faith in the markets. That's very disheartening, knowing that a lot of people will have turned away from markets because, similar to what happened in 2008, they're going to never look at the market. They're going to look at the market as some kind of rigged system, this thing that's, out to screw them, not realizing that it is one of the most fascinating and most amazing constructs on this planet. And guess what? Human beings have created this, and it's one of the best ways to grow your wealth sustainably in the long term, if you do it right? So I just thought I'd put a note out there, right? Plus kind of show you that, guess what? You know what? I feel a little bit vindicated. Again, I lost a decent chunk of money. It's not a big deal. It's part of trading. I was on the wrong side of the trade. So even people like me can get a trade wrong. Even people like me can be on the wrong side of the trade. Granted, this was a black swan event type of thing. It's not often that you get a stock going up over 1,700% in less than 3 weeks, right? Not often at all. So really, I was on the wrong side of the trade, and I just feel bad that there's people that could have made a lot of money and done really well because they, unlike me, got in and they were on the right side of the trade. They just didn't take the money. And it sucks. It sucks because I see a lot of people panicking now. I get a lot of messages. Riz, what should I do? I have AMC. I have GameStop. I bought around 350. Like, man, that's tough, right? And depending on how much money they put in, people have obligations. And when this happens, it sucks. So my heart goes out to them. I just wanted to kind of do a quick video. Please start off on the right track. There's a lot of resources on my channel. There's a lot of stuff in the, description below to take a look at that. Check it out. There's a lot of ways and resources that you can learn and you can become better. You can become better. You can learn. We all learn, even me. So ultimately, I was kind of right in my thesis. Even someone like me who's done this over 13 years, I have placed probably tens upon tens of thousands of individual trades over my career. God knows how many hundreds of thousands of dollars in commissions I've paid to brokerages because, they weren't always commission free. And even I make mistakes. Even I can bleed, right? So learn from it. I know I continue to learn and adapt. I just hope that, you will take the markets to a point where no matter what your experience level is, you'll invest in yourself. Whether you did really well, congrats, or maybe you learned a lesson, you learned a tough lesson, but you learned a lesson nonetheless. So keep at it. Please do yourself a favor. Don't give up on markets. I know that not everything that's occurred is I would say, ultimately fair or doesn't really look good. Absolutely, the optics are bad in regards to what happened with halting the brokerages, halting the trading in these specific stocks. I did a breakdown as well on why these stocks were kind of halted, and it's in my recap video of the webinar, and you can see it. You can find it on my channel. So watch it. There's a lot of insight. There's something that I think you can all benefit from. So make the most of it. If you have questions, reach out to me on social media, email me. I just want to say that I'm here for those of you that are interested, for those of you that want to be a part of markets, want to participate, right? You just have to make sure you have the right expectations and you approach it with the right mindset. And for those of you wondering, if I would have kept my short open, I probably would have, I've been making money right now instead of losing. But guess what? I took the trade and I took the loss because of what was in front of me, right? I had to protect my capital, protect the account, protect the risk management, kind of follow the plan. Here it is. So, I hope this video has helped you. I hope it's maybe clarified a few things. And, if there's anything I can do to help, just reach out. And I look forward to speaking with you and stay in touch. Ciao.